I want to get line drive.
Want to lose weight?
Right now, we have a very special guest in the studio, man.
What's up, man?
The hottest man in the industry, I want to say right now.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar, what's going on with you, man?
Man, working, man. Happy to be right here. Thank y'all for having me.
Mattlocks is sitting first mic with me, host our show, Rhyme and Reason, right here on the beat, so be sure to tune in. But right now, it's all about you. So the last big show that you did, I'm sure you get asked about it a lot, but Coachella.
Coachella.
Okay, so I want to ask a couple questions about Coachella.
Yeah, do you?
So, Coachella, you came out with Dr. Dre, man. You got a chance to rock that. I want to say it was like 90,000 people out there.
Yeah,
Tupac hologram. What was that like for you, man?
It was a crazy experience, man. I remember performing in front of 20 people, 10 people. You know what I mean? Quadrupled that to 100,000. You know what I mean? So it shows you that grind and, belief take you a long way.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Another question that I have for you is that, this Dr. Dre thing is kind of a recent development, more or less, in your career because, you go all the way back to the K-Dot days, you know what I mean? And all that. So, I remember listening to, I want to say it was Big Boy's show. We syndicate Big Boy out here in Phoenix. Shout out to Big Boy, that's my man. And we heard Dr. Dre on there one time, and he gave you this big shout out. And I remember that was a big deal.
Yeah, definitely.
We was all going crazy with that. Now, of course, Aftermath is a label. You work with Dr. Dre, all that,
yes, sir.
All that sort of stuff.
TD Aftermath.
So, I gotta know, does Dr. Dre give you any sort of advice? Like, how involved is he with your process?
It's crazy, man. I'm blessed in the position, man. He let me, do me, what I've been doing.
Right.
Obviously he looked at the music and looked at the talent and respected enough where he felt like, I've developed myself, over the years. He realized that, so it's one of those situations where we kind of like mesh our talents together, man. I learned from him, just watching him in the lab, man. So it's a crazy experience.
All right, that's very apparent on the new single, The Recipe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like I was just saying, we just added that, and I'm gonna beat my chest a little bit. I am the music director of this radio station, and
that's right. Beat that chest, Ramses.
Beating the chest. I gotta do it, man. Got some Kendrick on. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Compton too, man. So I'm happy to support you. I'm happy to support YG. I'm happy to support Schoolboy Q. We're flirting with his record right now, so we'll see what we can do with it.
Yeah, man. Come on. So TD movement, it's a big movement going on.
Okay, I like that.
Yes, sir.
So check this out, man. You spoke about Compton, and I told you a little earlier that I'm from Compton.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know you went to Centennial.
Yep.
And I didn't go to high school in Compton. I went to high school out here, but I went to Ascot Elementary, so not too far from there, so I'm running in Compton. But I haven't been back there in a long time. I go to LA all the time, but I'm looking here in Compton. What's Compton like? Because I hear Compton is doing a lot better now.
Yeah. It's getting there because people are tired of going to jail and tired of jumping in that grave, hearing about their homes jumping in the grave. Right. It's more of a money thing now.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody is trying to do something with themselves as far as getting money. It's not really. The war be over getting money rather than over a color, if anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a step for change, but it still got its deals for sure. I can't sugarcoat that.
No, right. Man, I lived there in the 80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 4th of July was scary for me.
The 80s.
That's a whole different 4th of July, bro.
Yeah. It's all bad. And I'm born in 82, so
yeah. My pops told me about the 80s and early 90s. Mm-hmm. I can only imagine I know how it was just off the images he depicted on that. And from what I've seen, it's definitely better than what it was then.
Well, that's good. Shout out to Compton. Never thought I could say that on the radio out here, but shout out to Compton, the place of my birth.
Yeah.
With Kendrick Lamar shouting out with me. Okay, I got another one for you.
Do you?
All right, so we're talking about Dr. Dre. You know what I mean? And you have a well-documented appreciation of a lot of standouts from Compton, California, a lot of West Coast standouts.
Exactly.
Tupac, Eazy-E.
The lineage is strong.
Exactly. And then of course with MCA passing, and a lot of these other cats that have passed on, it's really it's kind of brought to the front of my mind. What's your legacy going to be? So what do you want your legacy to be? I mean, you know, when everything is said and done, hopefully you just retire as an old man. But what do you want to leave behind?
I want to leave behind a new voice, you know, for my city. You know, building from there, then spreading across the whole world. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A voice that represents, you know, just more of a positive light. You know, when you look at Compton and where it is today, everybody knows just nothing but negativity. You know what I'm saying? Right. We ain't have nothing growing up. The only YMCA that we had, you know, that got taken down from us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think the music, you know, it's a stepping stone, you know, to embrace my city a little bit more. You know, and take it to the next level where it needs to be as far as a positive role, a positive light. You know, I think I want my legacy to start there, you know, then go around the world eventually. But I wanna look right there in the city first. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually bring something bigger.
Okay. I think what's section. Well, I'll say this. Rapper Big Pooh was the first one to really introduce me to your music. He co-signed on you way early, and he told me he was working with you for some projects and some songs, and you know, Section 80 was a really, really beautiful piece of work, sir.
Thank you.
I think, like, I even just reading the titles of the songs, like Cushion Corinthians, like, how would you? Like, how did that happen? Like, I'm reading the titles of the songs, and I'm like, man, this is
that's, you know, that's that title stand out the most because, you know, it really, that and ADHD probably sums up the whole concept and project.
Right.
You know, just being a regular human being, a person that's going through everyday life and you know, trying to find his way through life. You know? Saying you still smoke, you know what I mean, you still get high or whatever, you know, your vice is, but at the same time while doing that, who says it's wrong to open up a Bible while you smoke and trying to figure out, you know, so much more. It's wrong to hold, you know, a joint in your mouth when, you know, going through the Corinthians.
Right.
Wrong? Nah, you're trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. That's another thing, man. You know, we talked earlier about Bootleg Kev, a good friend of mine. And when we was first when he was first showing up on our radar, he mentioned to me that your concepts for your songs are just out of this world, man. And you know, I've noticed that you know, like with the cartoons and cereal, you know, we were talking about that. Shout out to the Young Seed. Love that song, you know what I mean? And you know, even the recipe that we're playing right now, the concepts are just insane. And then I mean, even when you do features, you know, Thirsty with Terrence Martin, textbook stuff with XB, stuff like that. You're able to complete the concepts of the records that they established. Like, what's like, describe your creative process. I know you don't smoke, so you know, it's just, this is natural. You just get to do.
It's just really just me, you know, pushing me, you know, to be original, you know, to stay original, not being or trying, but stay original.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that's missing out of the game, period, man. You know, I don't want to be one of the cats that's just, you know, following what's hot or what everybody else is doing in the world, man. I always want to be original and challenge myself. So when I constantly think about that, I constantly think about new concepts. I'm getting the concept right now, just talking to you or talking to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
It's just everyday life, just waking up. Right. Oh, my man right here.
With Mattlocks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's just about challenging myself, man. And that's how I come about these concepts. And I always want to take it to the next level. Right. That's why it's like really no pressure for me right now, because everybody all asks, you got all this pressure. No, it's not, because I always had this standard for myself, you know, to challenge myself, because truthfully, that's what makes me feel good. Like, really. Right. If I lose that, then I'll be in a slump when I feel like I'm to the point where I'm stuck in a space where I can't elevate myself. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's about.
All right. Well, then, speaking of creative concepts, we're gonna get into the song, The Recipe. So I want you to introduce that.
Shouts out Scoop DeVille.
Shouts out Scoop DeVille. Killed the beat. Yeah. Kendrick Lamar featuring the big homie Dr. Dre. The Recipe. Dig that. Need it in your life. You know, everybody else coming to LA. You know, we gotta continue to be the originators of this. You dig what I'm saying? So
let's do it.
Here we go.
1011 the beat.